It's a testament to Julia, to UBCTS, instructors, faculty, JOC community. Really nice job. She took her advice, and if you look of all those pins that she received throughout the country, and she got to meet competitors and a positive experience. So well done, Julia. Mr. Young, who accompanied Julia to nationals, is always looking to make contacts to better his program and his students. He met the service manager at Yamaha a few years ago. We were one of the first schools in the country to create a marine agreement, and now we're looking to expand that for motorsports. And that will give our students access to all of the Yamaha dealer system and Yamaha Motor University. So thank you, Mr. Young, for doing that. Always looking to better your students and your programs. We had an excellent summer camp, as always. Take a look at that staff, which is great. We appreciate Mrs. Titus and all of the faculty that created a wonderful experience for students in grades 3 through 8. We have surveys, and we reported this back out to Alice Collier and the Workforce Development Board. They were very pleased. On very short notice, we put this program together. We received funding. And if you take a look at this, would your child be interested in attending next year? Everyone and one maybe said yes. Would you recommend the camp? 100%. And then we also asked about other programs that they would be interested in. But it went very, very well. And I thank the faculty for doing a wonderful job with that. Sorry, too much skipping around.
Was that our first summer camp?
This was the second one. We had one pre-pandemic. And we look to continue to do that, to market and get as many students as possible.
That's exactly where I was going. Thank you.
It was really neat. My daughter went to the camp and she was really excited about it. And actually, of the 4 programs, there was one that she was less excited about going in. She's like, she didn't think that was going to be, that one ended up being one of her favorites. So that just shows you, they don't, you don't really know going into it which ones you're really going to be interested in to get some exposure to it. But the teachers did a really great job making it hands-on and some great activities. So all 4 of them were really a neat experience. So.
Thank you. Lynn Husan, who works for UBCTS and payroll, her grandson began to cry on the way home, said he was going to miss it. So great feedback. As I presented a few months ago, in terms of universal design for learning and CASC and being able to support all of our students, I met with John Foster, who's the president and CEO of NACD. And he was so interested in this, he asked me to co-present with him at the Active Summer Leadership Conference. And at Visions, ACTE, it's a national conference in Las Vegas. I'm working with a faculty and staff, including Mrs. Free, on putting together a program over 2 years. And NACD's involvement is, we believe that this would benefit all CTE instructors throughout the country. And we're going to memorialize this with the development of micro-credentials. So we'll work very closely with them and create this in the best practice. I see Mrs. Overton, former special ed specialist, and just knows the importance of offering support for our student body. And again, working with Mrs. Free, we want to make sure that this is implemented the right way. Our ESSERS grant was finally approved. We recently created 2 articulation agreements. One of them is with Rutgers University in our ag sciences. And the second one was, in order to have a new program approved, you need an articulation agreement. Northampton Community College has one already built for us, which will allow us to get approval from the state. But I'm working also very, very closely with Bucks County Community College to create one with them that's in development. Last year, we began the process of a new program. Exercise science is fully enrolled. Our instructor is on board. He's filling out all of the books, paperwork for Mrs. Cram. And then we're looking, and he's met with Mrs. Diaz already to make sure that the equipment, the space, the curriculum is updated. So it's not like we just get this program approved and it's up and running. We still have a lot of work during the summer. We thank him for working with us on that. At the same time, as we begin to look to expand programs, one of the programs that was in consideration, which I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, was the computer network and cybersecurity program, which is really taking off. There's high demand in labor in Bucks County and the surrounding areas. There's career ladders for students to go to get credentials right off the bat, high-paying jobs, moving to an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree. Computer network specialists provide a wide variety of service. As we see Adrian going through and all that he does, it would be nice to have a program to help support and get mentorship through our own staff. There's a lot of industry credentials that go along with it. Cisco provides a lot of free resources, training, built-in professional development like CASE. That we're super excited. And I realize I'm going through this very quickly, but I just wanted to do a quick overview to keep this conversation going. These numbers are not updated, but there's a lot of cybersecurity positions that are unfilled. And from a workforce development, but Department of Defense, Energy, Education, it's a national initiative that I believe fits in with us here at Upper Bucks County Tech School. We have partnerships with Valley Forge Military Academy. They have done a lot of work in this area that we could partner with them. So I just wanted to keep that on everyone's radar. Any questions or comments up to this point?
Have you put together any numbers in regards to the cost associated with putting this program in play?
Not yet. Once we hear from the JOC, then we'll move forward.
Since it was not like period, what's your plan for when that would start? 2 years?
No, we would believe if there is a committal from the JOC that we could have that up and running for next year. And of course, our partnership with the Bucks County Community College, we know that the bigger picture is in terms of developing a site plan and enrollment and growth. But I think that this is something that there's a need, and listening to the JOC, we would be able to get that up and running.
I did have a question with the small engine. There was talk of possibly relocating that. Is that still in the, are we still discussing that for next year?
For next year.
22, 23, or that would be for 23, 24? So
23, 24
Okay.
at this point. But as you can see them continuing to grow and develop. And what's nice about those partnerships is they said, whatever you need, like if you need donations with Yamaha. I really thank our instructors for making those connections. Kim, cosmetology, state board visit, right? So we're still waiting for the email, but thank you, congratulations. That's an important component for licensure. If you want to just do a quick overview on that?
So we get inspected about every other year. This would have been the year we got inspected in February and then everybody got kicked out of work in March of 2020 and we passed. And so all year we're telling the kids, this is the year we should be inspected, and they showed up, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So Mike has me on speakerphone and I'm telling the inspector, well, you need to go get my keys, but this is where this is locked up, this is where this is locked up. We have this, we have that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like trying to think of like the checklist in my head, and she's never been into our school before. She's new to this position. So she said, yeah, I think I screwed up whenever I pulled in the parking lot and saw there were no cars. So, but we passed inspection without having everything all set up and without me being on the property. So Mike was running around trying to find stuff and showing her. So we passed, so that's good. But now the kids will never believe that they were here, even though they see the inspection sheet.
Was a testament to you setting it up in place, and not only to the standards of the PE Department of Ed, but a state licensure board, and all of the data and the record keeping that goes along with that. So thank you for doing that.
Good teamwork.
Yeah.
It was asked about if we have a streamlined process with admissions. And over the course of the last few years, we put our application online. And it's been very successful. Like, we're able to monitor enrollment early on. Moving forward, we'd like to start that timeline a little earlier instead of waiting till March. Maybe push that back a couple months. With that said, different criteria that's built in or can be built into the application process is attendance, discipline, behavioral, sending school placement recommendations from the assistant superintendents, and interest in essays, along with whether or not they toured UBCTS. This is not exclusionary for students if, like, for example, that have attendance, if they have an IEP or 504, if they're excused, that would not be held against them. We currently do not ask if they have a 504 and IEP, nor do I believe will we at this point. As we develop programs to make sure that we don't have students on the waiting list, I do feel that it's necessary to have a common process. And I think this memorializes that. And finally, UBCTS will place students in programs based on the above criteria. And this is aligned with our policy, which was approved a few years ago. I just wanted to do a quick overview for the JOC on that.
Yeah, I had a question about that. Would this apply to currently enrolled students too? Like, say if they were having, really bad attendance issues. I know Dr. Harner had mentioned before that the tech school is a privilege. And, I don't know if they can lose that privilege if they're having bad disciplinary problems, either here or at the home school, or attendance problems.
It's often if in the year if there's space, there's movement that occurs. Students will switch places, so that'll continue as and throughout the whole process, we want to make sure that we place students appropriately with the right interest and aptitude. Working with the sending school districts to and through the summer camp and DA programs, the small transition of students in the beginning of the year wouldn't have to go through this. But towards the end of the year, if there's spaces were not available, students would be encouraged to reapply to be fair, and then they would be placed in this criteria.
Sort of, but and the criteria also for returning students, they do get a priority, so if you were.
Yeah, if you're existing and you just continue, so we
Yeah.
would not, they would not have to go through the process again.
Okay.
The comprehensive plan is being developed right now. Let's see. And so I'm meeting with our association president, Mrs. Diaz, and her leadership next week. We're gonna review this. And I'll be sending it out to the JOC for input. It has to be posted, the comprehensive plan, as you're probably aware from your sending school, along with the induction and the professional development plan, 28 days for public review. So I plan on publishing that July 28th on the website. I just wanted to let you know that we've been working on this. I spoke to a representative at the state today who gave us a preliminary approval that it meets all compliance. That is Amy Lena, she's the Chief Division of Planning and Professional Development at the Department of Ed. But again, we want this to be collaborative. We want everyone's input. Just because it's posted does not mean it's the final plan. We'll be working on this with the staff and with the JOC. I'll send that out. If you have any questions or input, feel free to share that. And a lot of these will be in my goals, which I'll discuss in executive session. So that aligns with the comprehensive plan. And then that's it. I know we covered a lot. I thank you. Usually we have more input. Any questions, comments, or thoughts?
Do have a link for July new hires there.
Yes, okay, so I'll introduce the,
I just before you move on, I really like that comprehensive process for admission. I like the balance and I like the fact that it really unifies the process for everyone. So I think that's a good plan.
thank you. Bruce, we're gonna introduce you when the public gets here, but Bruce Conrad is here from HVAC. Amanda Daly will be online. And I'll do the introductions at the meeting. And same thing with Chris, who may be showing up shortly for machining. We've been very lucky and fortunate to get qualified staff members to put before your review. And is there anything else with that? Nope. So any other questions or comments? If not, we have a 5-minute break before the board.
I thought everything was
To call the Uppermost County Technical School JOC meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Dennis Clemens here. Mr. Spur,
here.
Mr. Hallowell,
I'm here.
Mr. Cormack,
Here.
Mr. Shiliak, here, Mr. Ott,
Here.
Mr. Shermer.
Here.
Mr. Rice,
Here.
Mr. Post.
Here.
Okay, an executive session will follow this meeting for personnel matters.
We should let everyone know that Ron Morris is our alternate from Penridge.
Mr. Ron Wers is here, he's our alternate, and Mr. Post is here filling in for Diane Rashino from Quakertown.
Just wanted to make sure everybody understood that.
All right, and that brings us to public comment. We have one person signed up so far for public comment. Please state your name, municipality, and the first public comment session is for agenda items only, and then there will be a public comment session at the end for non-agenda items. We have Mrs. Overton signed up.
Thank you. Yeah, mine is for an agenda item. I just wanted to speak to the appointment of Dr. Herrera. So back in last year, June 17, 2021, I sent an email to the board, and only 5 of those board members are still on this board. But that email was asking you to please take a second look before you renewed Sweeta's contract. And I got an email from Mr. replying, and I got a very snide email from Mr. Curran about it. But you know, at that board meeting, he was unanimously approved and went on to this disaster that unfolded before. And I know it's a long shot, but I wish people had, you know, just taken a little bit of heed of that warning, and could have saved the taxpayers a lot of money and a lot of aggravation. And since then, I've really learned about the scope of the authority and power of the executive director, and what a really, really important position that is. And to me, in my mind, of all the skills that you would want for that person, I would want them to be a person with integrity, with a strong moral character, clear ethics, and really honest communication. And I think everyone would agree that Dr. Herrera has really stepped up during this time. He certainly is a person who likes to please and do a good job, and he has worked well with the teachers. But in my mind, from the experience I had during that time with Mr. Sweeta and Dr. Herrera, I wouldn't say that he has those characteristics I look for in an executive director. He was front and center with all the harassment that Mr. Sweeta perpetrated that caused half the staff to leave. And I'm sorry, Dr. Herrera, even all that has been done to me personally, and I think some of you have been at different board meetings where you've heard the testimony of other teachers, that, you know, he was part of the teacher harassment. And I don't know what's worse, to see what was going on by the executive director and not say anything, or to be oblivious to it. Both are really problematic in my mind. The way the system works, by the time you get it on the agenda and people come and talk, you've already made your decision. You've already had your interviews. I know there's not a giant pool of executives that want to take this position, and maybe Dr. Herrera is the best candidate that you had. But I would really want to see for him, I feel like these board meetings are a lot of PR session, and I appreciate his positive spin on things, but I would really like to see a strong backbone and somebody who's really going to stand up for this school. When they say, we're going to put 900 kids in here for lunch, rather than say, we'll do whatever needs to get done, say, you're going to turn our school into a circus. I just, you know, with when Dr. O'Connell was here, she's a very agreeable superintendent of record. I really don't know Dr. Bolton that well, but I know that Dr. Harner wields a heavy hand and tries to influence the school quite a bit when he's in charge, and I want to know that the person in charge here is going to be able to withstand his pressures. And Mrs. Megan Bannis Clemens, you have in the past, I've always asked for a climate survey. It was never delivered to you. But when Kathleen Plesnarski was here, every year we had a climate survey. Every year, everybody in the school evaluated everybody's performance, and then you could see how things were going. I really think we need to get back to that. I think there has to be some clarity and transparency about what goes on here. And I guess that's it. And just, I'm also happy to see that you're going to give a raise to the cafeteria manager. I think that still comes out to $175 a day for her to perform that miracle of feeding all those children every day. I still think that pay is remarkably low, but I'm glad she's getting raised. And that's it. That's it for the agenda items. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments from anyone here in person? No? Okay. Are there any comments online? Okay, next is the Assistant Director's Report. Dr. Guerrero?
Thank you, Mrs. Bennett Clemens. If it's okay, I'm going to combine my Assistant Director's report with the subcommittee report from programming. Congratulations to Julia Kemmerer for placing 5th nationally in the automotive finishing technology. She heeded our advice and traded state pins with everyone from throughout the country. And we're very proud of her. It's a testament to our faculty, the school, the JOC, Julia as a person, her success. At the same time, Mr. Young always wanted to better his program and students, did some fantastic networking out at nationals. A few years ago, we updated his program by creating an agreement with Yamaha for one of the first schools in the country for Marine. And we're looking to do the same for motorsports. This will give us access to Yamaha Motor University. The dealer system is going to bring a lot of resources. The gentleman who came out, Jesse Dayton, was a former national winner from Delaware and said, thank you. Please thank everyone in the community. The dealers really need more workers, and however he can help support our mission, he's willing to do. And so we thank him and Mr. Young for that. Our summer camp was a very big success. Thank you, Mrs. Natitis, and all of the faculty and staff members who spent a lot of time designing, implementing it, even all the way up through the survey. It went very well. We received monies through the Workforce Development Board on very, very short notice. This was our first year after the pandemic, and it was a big success. We're looking to grow and expand that moving forward. As we've talked about in past meetings, we're working with Universal Design for Learning and CAST. I was approached by Dr. Foster from NACD, who asked if I could present at the PACTA Leadership Conference on creating micro-credentials with our faculty and staff. Mrs. Free is helping with this initiative, and that's going to be to support all students. So we're very excited about this. I believe this will give us a lot of support for the students internally, but it could be a best practice throughout the country. And Mrs. Overton was always a big supporter of supporting all students. Ag, we received 2 articulation agreements, Ag, Tech, and Life Sciences through Rutgers. And in order to start a new program, we have an articulation agreement that's finalized with Northampton Community College. And we're also developing one with Bucks County Community College. We had a lot of positive placements during the summer. That'll continue. You'll see on the agenda some additional days from this JOC to support our students, making sure that these sites are safe and that they're doing well. And we're continuing to expand that. Our new teacher induction, we have some of our new teacher hires with us this evening. That'll be August 16th and 17th. The first day for teachers is August 23rd, And first day for students is the 29th. So that is my report. We also talked about admissions, and the ESSER grant is sorry. Yeah, a uniform admissions process. I did a presentation on our computer science, networking, and cybersecurity to see if there's support to move forward with that for next year. I believe that is everything.
When would you need that formal approval to really get started with the computer networking, cybersecurity?
Next month, I'll present a more detailed approach with, so I think at that point.
The JOC can approve it.
Yes, yeah. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Herrera. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the July bills payable, personnel recommendations, which includes extra days for Mrs. Nice coming in over the summer, a resignation from culinary arts instructor, a salary adjustment for the cafeteria supervisor, student services additional days, and 3 new hires, including 2 who are here in person and 1 who's online. The first on the agenda is Amanda Diley. She is being recommended for the healthcare careers instructor. She's, I believe, online, right?
Yes, I have all their bios for you, right?
Okay. Do you want to?
Sure. Amanda Diley is a board certified occupational therapist with over 14 years of experience in the medical field. She's worked alongside a wide variety of healthcare professionals. Her patients and clients include children, teenagers, and adults in various settings, including outpatient therapy, inpatient rehabilitation, home health, and the school system. While Amanda has worked with all age ranges from newborn to geriatric, her expertise is working with children, teens, and their parents. Her network of professional health organizations is vast and varies, and most notably includes Good Shepherd Rehabilitation, where she has worked for 14 years. She and her family live in the Quakertown area. Her husband is a teacher at a local school, Strayer, I believe, and their 2 children attend Nedick Elementary in Quakertown. Her family also has strong ties to the trades, having a brother, father, and multiple extended family members who are electricians with the IBEW Local 365. We have a great relationship with them too. So additionally, her husband's father and brothers are all experienced contractors. Her husband grew up working construction and still spends summers working with his family. He's looking forward to joining the Upper Bucks County Tech team and bringing her knowledge and expertise to our students to provide them with training and education they need to be successful.
And the second new hire is Christopher Cancellieri as the machining and engineering instructor. How do I do on the name?
Chris.
Did I butcher it? Did I get it right?
Close enough.
Chris, would you like to stand? We appreciate Chris. Chris graduated from Upper Perkman High School and Western Center for Technical Studies in 2000. He obtained his associate's degree in machine tool technology from Reading Area Community College in 2009. Chris has over 20 years of manufacturing experience, including CNC program and blow mold engineering. Chris also owned and operated his own manufacturing company for 7 years. In 2010, Chris became one of the precision machine tool technology instructors at LCTI. While there, he obtained his level 1 teaching cert from Temple University. He was awarded an Excellence in Education Award from the Da Vinci Science Center for his work with the NASA Hunch program. He guided students in obtaining many NIMS credentials and post-graduation employment. With its competitive spirit, which he'll continue to bring to UBCTS, Chris coached students to succeed in the Skills USA competitions, with one student winning the 2013 National CNC Turning Championship. Chris has been married to his wife Lindsay for 14 years. Together they have 3 children, Riley, 10, Xander, 8, and Ariana, 6 years old. He's proven to be a very useful taxi driver, getting the kids to baseball, softball, wrestling, and gymnastic events. He also coaches Riley's softball team in the spring and fall when he's not working and driving children to their events, which we don't know yet how you have that much time on your hands, Chris. He enjoys cooking and, of course, Philadelphia sports. So, Chris, see.
And our third hire is an HVAC and plumbing instructor, Bruce Conrad.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Bruce. Bruce has been in the HVAC trade since 1985. In 1995, he went from being an apprentice, a manager, and business owner. As his business grew, he developed an auto repair shop to service local customers in his fleet. With a love for all things mechanical, he also enjoys the development of new employees. He's been married to Lisa, his wife, for 32 years, and they have 2 children together. He was involved in many local events such as Boy Scouts, Sunday schooling, and facilities training at various companies in the area. After the passing of his daughter in 2010, he had an opportunity to sell his business. He was retained as a part-time consultant for a short time to help the transition. And then after 2 years, his son, Corbin, expressed interest in the trades. Both he and Corbin started another heating and cooling company in which Corbin completed his apprenticeship and then acquired a job with a local pharmaceutical company. His new focus is on obtaining a position to train for larger HVAC companies. I believe it was Corbin, your son, who said, why don't you go into teaching?
That's correct, yeah.
And he looks forward to a long career and in being an asset to the students, school, and staff at Upper Bucks County Tech School.
Also on the consent agenda, we have the rates for substitute student workers and other positions effective July 1st. The second read of our policies, 328, 332, 341, 342, 343, and 351. And last is the updated health and safety plan. Would I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Mr. Cormack. Any questions or comments from board members?
Yeah, has the culinary position been posted?
We've had several very qualified candidates, so it's going to be very competitive.
So hopefully we'll have somebody there for the fall.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, do we have the health and safety plan published, the draft? I don't see it here in the board doc. Again, because it's not my computer.
Dr. Otti, I believe the 10 days is going to be next week, and we're going to prioritize the
Okay.
process of that.
All right. I just wanted to make sure the ball was rolling.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes. Can you summarize any changes to the health and safety plan?
There's not too many changes from December.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically the language.
That's what I'm asking, is it the same?
It's,
Not required mask, but not required mask? It's
yeah,
the
no,
same-
no,
It's the same as what we had in the fall.
Right, there aren't, the main changes are just updates as far as, removing obsolete language, clarifying language, and, taking away things we're no longer doing that are outdated, that kind of stuff.
So it's still following the Bucks County Health recommendations?
It says this plan will continually be monitored to consider updated CDC and Bucks County Department of Health recommendations. The plan will be reviewed and revised as necessary at the administrative level by the school's health and safety planning team, as well as the building level teams. The revisions will be recommended to the board for approval, and changes will be communicated to students, staff, and the greater school community.
Sounds good to me.
And this is a procedural update as well, that they require
Every 6 months.
reviews every 6 months, so it's about that time that we
Mhm.
had to do this.
Okay. I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, then if there's no other questions or comments, we call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Congratulations and welcome to the team. Congratulations to Amanda online. I don't know if you want to say hi. Okay, next is a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Upper Bucks County Technical School and the Upper Bucks County Educational Support Personnel Association to amend Article 8 to replace unused sick days with unused PTO days and unused sick days with unused PTO days wherever found.
I make a motion.
Moved by Mr. Rice. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mrs. Verchowiak. Questions or comments from board members?
Should one of those say unused vacation days?
I was just thinking, I think that's a typo.
It's just wherever, because this is the final one, it says wherever found, so it could be anywhere in the.
Right, but it says the same thing twice.
From sick days and PTO days.
Okay.
So instead of having sick days, they have personal time off days.
Okay.
Right, so
You
unused
just
sick
said it
days,
twice.
unused PTO days, unused sick days, unused PTO days. But it's just repetitive.
Yeah, it's so that they can change it anywhere. It's that one article that has to be changed, and then wherever else it says in the contract is where Mr.
Oh,
Collins.
okay, the first one is referring to where in the article, and the second one is everywhere else. Okay, got it. I was confused. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Okay, next is a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Upper Bucks County Technical School and the Upper Bucks County Educational Support Personnel Association to adjust the hourly wages of the cafeteria staff in the ESPA contract for the 22-23 school year.
Take a motion.
I'll second it.
Moved by Mr. Cormack, seconded by Mr. Rice. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Okay, next, I just wanted to share some comments before I read the motion for this position. We had.
No.
No.
No, this one first.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
So we went through an extensive process. Huge thank you to the Bucks County Intermediate Unit for helping us to run the search process for the executive director position. They did a great job hosting it even nationally. We had a lot of really strong candidates. In fact, we had 11 candidates. We interviewed 7 of those candidates in the first round. We brought 4 candidates back for the second round. And ultimately, our candidate for tonight is Dr. Herrera. The Upper Bucks County Technical School Joint Operating Committee is proud to announce our intention to hire Dr. Michael Herrera as the next executive director. Dr. Herrera is a proven leader and team player, unifying staff and prioritizing a positive climate and culture where people truly love to come to work every day. He is invaluable to our team of dedicated professionals who are passionate about the programs we offer and ensure students have the tools they need to be successful on whatever path they choose for their future. Industry leaders appreciate his focus on local businesses and the relationships and partnerships he has built within the community. Unifying people around a student-centered vision and inspiring others to go above and beyond to reach their full potential is a real strength. His true talent is thinking outside the box and finding innovative ways to expand certifications and qualifications to best prepare our students for broader opportunities. We believe Dr. Herrera's knowledge, passion, and dedication to students and technical education align with the vision we all share and will best prepare the Upper Bucks County Technical School to continue to lead the way, building on prior accomplishments while meeting and exceeding the challenges ahead. I should also add that we had, we did have 3 staff members who were able to help us and share their thoughts through the process and participate in the interview process. You know, I've also been really impressed with your communication throughout this whole period of time. So I just wanted to thank you for that. Is there anyone else wanted to say any other words before we go to the motion?
It's all been said.
All right. Then I will ask for a motion to appoint Dr. Michael Herrera as the Executive Director of the Upper Bucks County Technical School
So moved.
for a 3-year term effective July 11th, 2022, according to the terms of the agreement, and to appoint Dr. Michael Herrera, Executive Director, as the Title IX and Section 504 Coordinator Officer and the Right to Know Officer of UBCTS.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Right out either way.
Moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Mr. Spear. Questions or comments from board members?
Your current position is career technical. What's your current position now?
Acting Executive Director.
Right, but before you were acting,
Assistant Director.
assistant director. Okay, will you reach out for a new assistant then?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Congratulations.
Upper Bucks County Technical School community is very special. It's filled with people that care very, very deeply. It's just built into their DNA. We have a excellent faculty that, goes above and beyond. The talented student body, the JOC and the sending school districts are all very supportive. I'm looking to unify, creating an organizational alignment, making sure that we'll work very closely together, cohesively, always putting students at the forefront of every decision. We look to be very collaborative and give my best. And I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is a motion to approve adding the executive director as a card holder with a $10,000 limit, the business manager as a card holder with a $15,000 limit, and the human resources manager as a card holder with a $1,000 limit to the school's Penn Community Bank business credit card account for incidental and occasional use, effective July 11th. Do I need the motion? Moved by Mr. Rice. Seconded by Mr. Hallowell. Questions or comments from board members?
Yeah, just one, P cards are really handy. But they're a nightmare to account for. So, my advice for the current and future business manager is just stay on top of them. And the reason I know this is because that was one of the responsibilities that my wife had down at the IU. And they're very difficult to stay on top of and can get out of control very quickly. So my request is, it's a lot of money, just monitor it.
Just kind of give you a background on it. So right now, the business manager has a $20,000 credit card limit. And that's basically all the accounts payable bills get charged. We have to buy something through accounts payable. That card is locked in the building here. won't say where, but it is locked up here. The executive director will also have a card as a backup for that, because if there's an issue with that card, obviously we still need to be able to do business. So that card will be as a backup for that. And then Ms. Cram for the $1,000, she typically does have TIMS reports that have to be done. So that is for her to be able to put those certifications through on that credit card, but everything has to run through the purchase order system first. I don't like P cards either because they can get out of control. So they are the 3 cards. And I really just wanted to make sure that I can start moving forward with the transition with, you know, me leaving in August, that other people have ways to be able to continue to purchase until that person's named. So that's kind of where that is coming from.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Okay, and next, we're gonna have some discussion so we can decide what we're actually gonna do about this. So if you wanna continue with the propane conversation.
Okay, so Mr. Moyer and I have been kind of looking at the propane purchase. The contract was actually up. There was a 1-year extension that was actually up in 2020, and we just became aware of it in the spring. So we have been working with the Bucks County IU to do a cooperative bid purchase for propane. They did run bid, and then in their June meeting, for several reasons, the bid was rejected by the board. So in the meanwhile, we've worked with David, Mr. Khan, and he told us to go through, get some quotes for propane. He just told us over on the summer. The IU has rerun a bid again for propane. It will just be for the Upper Bucks County Tech School at this point for 70,000 gallons. And that bid opening will be on July 21st, I believe. Yes, July 21st. So we really just need to get through the summer with the propane purchases. So the spreadsheet that, well, there's 2 spreadsheets. The top one will show that on chart 1 is the differentials, and this is as of this morning. We called and talked to Kevin at Suburban Propane. Right now, the base price is $1.48, and then you'll see in the blue, their differentials. That will be, the price will be $1.48 plus whichever company's differentials are out there. The very first column in there is what their locked price would be. Both Penn Valley and Suburban said that they would hold those prices for us until after the meeting tonight. Liberty Propane said he would do his best to hold that price, but he wasn't sure. And then chart 2 was when we started putting all this information together. It was on June 29th. You'll see that the rate was $1.24, and then the same differential prices in there. So it has gone up a little bit in the last 12 days. So that's kind of where we are. We need to know which direction you would like to go. If you want to lock in, or if you would like to go with the, you know, the price and go with the differential, and it would adjust as time goes on.
Would we lock in after we see what the IUs?
So we need to be able to purchase right now. We just filled our tank at the very end of July and June, and we do need to be able to purchase in the meanwhile. So.
No, I mean, none of these prices are a long-term contract, so
Correct.
we just need to fill the tank until we get
5,500
something
gallons
else.
is what we were looking for. That'll get us through July and August.
Locks you until September 1st. What's that? It locks you in with the locked in prices.
Yeah.
It's only 2 months.
So it's, it seems like, right, you can either lock in chart 1, right, or.
Well, lock in that first column, that chart 1 is the prices as of today. Chart 2 was the prices as of June 29th when I sent that first email out. Oh, so chart 1 is the current pricing.
Can we see the chart up on the screen?
So it already fluctuated by like 20 cents. So you're saying.
It was about, it went from 124 to 24 cents.
So you're gonna have to explain it to me.
Okay, guys.
So I think,
Take chart one, Penn Valley's locked in price is $1.80, basically. What does that mean?
So if we lock in with them, then we'll pay $1.79.9 for however many gallons that we get over the summertime.
Until
September
September.
first,
Which we're anticipating 5,500 gallons.
Then the blue columns, what are they?
That's the differential.
I
So
don't
if
understand.
you go with the fluctuating price, the market price,
That was $1.48.
it's $1.48 plus
The
each
differential.
company has the differential listed that they would charge on top of that. So it would be the $1.48 plus the 62 cents,
That's how you come up
becomes-
with the 210.
correct?
Okay, got it.
so it used to be cheaper not to lock in, but now it's cheaper to lock in. That's essentially what you're showing with the two different charts.
Today.
Right, so today, we're bet, and they're only gonna go up, I don't see them going down, right? I mean, watch, I'm gonna jinx it, they'll all plummet tomorrow, you know. I don't-
So as of today, this is the best that I can give you.
So it looks like based on this, Penn Valley locking in at 179.9 is the best way to go. Is that where everybody else is at?
And who's our current supplier
Penn Valley.
and what's our current rate?
We were on it was plus 50 cents, so we paid, was it about $1.78? Hold on.
Well, it's
So
basically, it's 12
148
cents.
plus 50 cents.
It's 12 cents, it's a differential of 12 cents higher.
In my email, hold on a second.
Can you lock it in for a longer term? At
So
a
we
lower
have to
price?
go to bid for it since it is going to be higher, so that's what the IU is doing the actual bid for.
I think this makes the most sense, not wait until September first, and then by the time I
I
get it all
understand.
figured out, then we can have a better number.
Yeah.
For long term.
I have a question. Are there any downsides to locking in?
If the price
If
goes
the prices
down,
were to
yeah.
drop. But this is, we're only talking about now through the end of August.
And,
It's a short time
and
frame.
for, it's really only 12 cents higher
Yeah.
than we're currently paying, so.
And so then it looks like in May, we paid $1.79 a gallon, and in June, we paid $1.74.
Yeah, so really, it's very close to.
Yeah. And
Okay, then I will ask for a motion to approve Penn Valley Gas Inc. for propane at a rate of 179.9
I'll make a motion.
up through September 1st, 2022.
Second,
Moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Mr. Post.
that's fine.
Questions or comments from board members?
Now, does Penn Valley Gas already have keys and everything for the cage? They come in after hours, I guess, sometimes.
And they also have a monitoring system, so they can tell that Mr. Moyer can give that detail.
Yeah, the tanks are all monitored. There's 4 tanks, and so they see it's about 60% today. And they'll come out whenever they need to keep them full. We've never had a problem with supply.
Do they own those tanks or are those
No,
ours?
we own the tanks. We actually have 2 others. We have 6 on our site. The 4 out that we see are for the main building. Yeah, there's 1 for the maintenance shop, and there's 1 for the greenhouse.
But you can call them August 28th and get everything built, if that's what we want.
That's what they did for us June 30th, at the price, they filled everything up out here. It's just-
How many trucks does it take to fill? How many trips?
Yeah, they do make a lot of trips. It's like 75,000 gallons.
Yeah.
and we only hold 6.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. And we are back to public comment. Are there any public comments on agenda or non-agenda items? Mr. Linden?
Congratulations. Dr. Herrera.
Thank you.
Congratulations to JOC too for making this smart, wise choice. Thank you. The part of the public.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you knew at this time what the enrollment is for September.
On the agenda tonight, we had 903 to 907.
903.
But we also hired a second healthcare instructor. And Mrs. Welding has some days built in, so she'll be coming in next week and we'll.
So my question is the number of administrators. Once upon a time, there were 4 administrators in this building with an enrollment of 700. And now we're going to have an enrollment of 900. We have 1 right now, and we're going to hire a second, but that's still only 2 administrators. And I'm wondering what the plan is for those positions that, I don't know if they exist anymore, or the reorganization. But, it's going to be a full house here, and it seems silly not to have as much administrative support as would be necessary. Now, I know everyone wants to support Dr. Herrera, but we don't want to give him an impossible task here. Also, and it seems like the budget for the school is submitted before we know the enrollment numbers. And so we didn't maybe plan for adequate staffing for hallways and lunchtime. So it seems like maybe that budget should be due after you have your enrollment numbers.
Can't say what budgets are scheduled based on.
Well-
Completely upside down. It just functionally cannot be done that way.
Well, then maybe there needs to be something built in as a cushion, because this is a lot
We
more
did.
students than we had last.
We did.
We did exactly what you asked.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Ms. Overton, Dr. Herrera in the programs committee did mention that we are going to try to start the enrollment process earlier, so we have at least a better estimation of it
Right.
closer to budget time.
I just would like to see it fully staffed. We don't have that much time till September with administrators. Also, just a comment on the video feed. Like I always listen at home. Today I came in person. Since Dennis left, there's no video feed of the group. And like right now, there's only like five or six or 6 or 7 people with their cameras on. So if you're listening at home, you can't always tell who's talking. So I miss that aspect of having the video feed for the group as a whole. Yeah, I think that's it.
So our process hasn't changed since he left, so I think it's just a matter of how many people are turning their cameras on versus who are turning them on
I
before.
thought there was one of the whole that panned the whole group.
The process itself hasn't changed. I think just maybe less board members have been actively turning them on, and so, we can be more cognizant of that and making sure that everybody's turning them on so that it's more clear from home.
My hair looks good today, so I put it on. I mean, for free.
As far as the hiring process, we now just created a vacancy in the assistant director position by hiring Dr. Herrera for the executive director position. And so now that will be posted so that we can hire a replacement.
That's 2 administrators, yeah.
And the idea was for the executive director to be able to have some decision-making on what the structure of that administration looks like. And there have been conversations about there not really being a need for a CTE supervisor. So, that may be a position that isn't replaced, and just those 2 positions. And then, so that would be one position that we're not
Tracy Hill's position.
looking to replace. That position from before, there haven't been any discussions about that position recently. So, like I said, the executive director will have some say on what the, what those job responsibilities and alignment looks like. So that'll be something that, he'll be developing a plan for moving forward. Are there any other public comments in person? Go ahead.
Hi, Kimberly Fitch, one of the cosmetology teacher. So Dr. Herrera, we can talk about this more, but I think filling the student services director's position would be really key. It used to be we had the director, the assistant director, and supervisor of student services. The name changed various times. Mr. Shannon used to be in there, and then Tracy Hill took that place. they did everything, like they worked with the CTOs, they worked with the special ed departments, they worked with our sending districts, they were our great buffer zone, we got a lot. NOPD, they worked with NOPD. So that's a position, but we can talk more Thursday whenever we meet as an association, leadership team with you. But I think that has been a component that has desperately been missing since Mrs. Hill resigned. I agree, the CTE supervisor's position does not necessarily need to be filled. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if anybody else's, but so that's just some food for thought. I just think that there's definitely a need for that student service supervisor position, so.
And I agree with Ms. Banks Clemens too, that once we get that top administrator positions filled and they work together, you know, the JOC seems to be willing to give the administration whatever support they need to fill any positions that they would feel need to be filled.
So it's unlikely that'll be done before September though.
Right, I think we're working on filling the current positions at this point. I think right now we have 2 positions that are out there. One is the culinary position for that resignation, and the other one would be the assistant director position is the business administrator position as well. Yeah. Any other public comments in person before I move to online? Okay. Are there any public comments online?
Thank you. I just wanted to jump in and say thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to say hi earlier.
That's okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your avatar's waving at us.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Right. Okay, that brings us to announcements. The next regular JOC board meeting is scheduled for August 18th at 7 p.m. in this boardroom 205 for JOC members, UPCTS administration and public attendance, or via Zoom. Are there any joint operating committee concerns? We already did.
Okay.
Anyone else? No?
We just need to get these positions filled. We only have a month.
So now can we officially post for the assistant director? then?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Your turn.
Welcome aboard.